Welcome to Monday Jazz and Conversation, presented by a collaboration of 4 nonprofit organizations: Gold Coast Jazz Society, South Florida Jazz, Sunshine Jazz Organization, and the Miami Jazz Cooperative, all of whom are dedicated to bringing jazz to South Florida audiences. Each Monday, Wendy Peterson and Nikki Orta feature the music and talk to the country's most talented and interesting jazz musicians.
So we welcome Ira from his home in Miami to celebrate his 89th birthday with us online. Hello, Ira Sullivan. Happy birthday.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Nicole Henry. Woo!
Hello.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Fedchuk to the hang.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here.
The amazing and beautiful and the world's best person, Brenda Alford.
Hi, Brenda.
Live up to that.
Okay, I got some living to do.
The very incredible guitar player, Mr. Go ahead, you do it.
Jonathan Kreisberg.
How are you?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Please welcome to Jazz and Conversation the amazing Joe Donato. Joey D!
Hello.
How are you? I'm so
Good evening,
sad
ladies and
that
gentlemen.
we gave
This
you
is Ralph
stress.
Edwards, and tonight, it's Joe Donato. This is your life.
And now, the hosts of Monday Jazz and Conversation, Wendy Peterson and Nikki Orta.
Hello!
Hello, everyone.
It doesn't get any easier watching that week after week.
Really? Not used to it yet?
No, it's quite shocking, but that's okay. We are back, and we had a little bit of a we did it last week, but we were doing the
best of.
some good stuff. That's what we did, some good stuff. And yeah, it made me happy watching some of the stuff that we've done and have been able to do during this crazy time.
I have a feeling that tonight's show will feature prominently in some upcoming best of.
I know. You know what? We've been working on all week, actually for the last couple weeks, getting stuff, doing a little bit of research and watching videos, and we were both completely floored at the amazingness that we are going to encounter this evening. I'm excited, just because I don't know him as much as I want to know him, and so there's a lot of questions I have, and I want to know stuff, and just the amount of people that he's played with, and incredible people that he's gotten a chance to even just be around.
Who are we even talking about?
You want to know who we're talking about?
Yes.
We are talking about the one, the only, Duffy Jackson. One of the most amazing, we've been listening to so much stuff, and every time we're just like, this guy, who does this? Who plays drums like this? Just like with so much excitement. But never too loud. It's just
He's
perfection.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
And then he plays bass, and then he scats his behind off.
Plays piano.
and,
Probably other things that we don't even know about.
Right. Well, why we're here. So what we're gonna do, the very first, right off the bat, is we're gonna just hear a little bit of him playing, and then we're gonna bring the man, the myth, the legend, right on our very own screen. So please, Duffy Jackson.
We'd like to conclude our first set with a Sonny Rollins classic right now entitled Olio. And we hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Come on. It does not swing harder than that.
It does not. And I have my first question I'm gonna ask him. So please welcome to our little show, the one and only Duffy Jackson.
Hey,
Hey!
Duffy!
How you doing?
So good to see you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. You know, it was great to you know, just experience, you know, playing with those great musicians, Laurie Meacham and Roger Spencer and Dennis Soley and George Tidwell, all connected with the Nashville Jazz Workshop up here.
Nice.
Which, they've permitted me to showcase my big band, and that was the first Snap on 2 and 4 that I did for them when I first arrived here. You know, moving up to Nashville was an amazing experience. It really was. I truly, truly miss you all so dearly. You know, this is the first time that we're actually, you know, having a little conversation since Ira went up to the big band, and he and my dad are grooving, playing the blues like you wouldn't believe.
I'm sure.
No doubt.
So, I send Charlene and her whole family all my love. You know, this is an amazing time in our history, and
It certainly is.
I'm trying to have a sense of humor about it, if there's any way to see any humor in this whole thing. But I have a lot of compassion for everybody, all the families that are experiencing what's happening, and you know, all I can say is wash your hands as much as you can.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
But have a tender moment for all the people that are experiencing what they're going through with their families right now. And you know, it's kind of hard to keep a sense of humor in this life right now because of our current events in the world. You know, I get up very early to watch the Morning Joe show to just see what's happening in the world. You know, and
Do you run right back? Do you run right back to bed in the fetal position?
Pull the cover over your head.
I do some of my best work when I go back to sleep. You know? But you know what? I count my blessings. Every day is a gift. You know, it's almost 9 years now. I came back from a tour of France, and I got a little woozy driving. I pulled over, went to the emergency, and they found a 95% blockage.
Oh,
Wow.
Right away, they put a pacemaker into me. You know, so now I can rush the beat all day, man.
you know, I had a question for you because as we were watching that little video, Nikki just was talking. He's like, who has a pocket like that? And then immediately came to me my burning question, right off the bat needs to be, where do you find pants with pockets that big?
Well,
But
you know, you're assuming I'm wearing pants while I. You know, I don't know how to explain all this to you, but no. The main thing is that you know, I just I keep an open mind as far as the flexibility to just blend in with other human beings, feeling the beat. You know, my dad and I we coined a phrase years ago called the universal groove, where
Right.
everybody feels one. You know, now after that, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
The main thing is that, you know, we all understand that we need to lock in a certain feeling so the human chemistry takes over. You know, please believe me, my father and I had 45 years of playing together. We were only father and son bass and drum team in the history of the swing jazz.
Right.
And my dad instilled a certain energy and a concept of thought in my heart that you have to make the groove feel good first.
Right.
Technically, there's so many great drummers. I'm a fan of thousands of drummers that I don't even know what their names are. But
Right.
I'm addicted to YouTube during this pandemic. I watch it religiously all day and night. But I'm just learning from people on how they need to express themselves rhythmically and melodically in the world right now. And, we need to do a lot of research into how to communicate on that level. There's so many. Oh, I want to tell you something good. I got a call from Monty Alexander.
Oh.
And he said that a record company in LA is going to put out a gig that we recorded at Bubba's in 1981.
Wow.
So
Nice.
Monty's playing so great, and
I'll drink to that.
Oh yeah, really. I mean, he's my main inspiration for what I play on piano. I mean, Count Basie and Duke and everybody else helped me too, but Monty, when I was 17, he took me out of Miami Beach High School on a Tuesday. I graduated in my principal's office, and by Thursday night, I was playing the Shelly Man's Manhole with Ray Brown and Milt Jackson and Monty and Teddy Edwards for 3 weeks, 6 nights a week, 3 sets a night. And please believe me, that was my graduation present from high school.
Wow, that's amazing. So we could talk a little bit about that, because not everybody knows who your dad was and how you came to be. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your dad, Chubby, and.
Can you see this picture of Dad? He's playing a 5-string, which was his invention, of a top C string above the G.
Oh.
And that's an Ampeg baby bass. My dad was the only bass player in jazz to play a baby bass.
Wow.
He thought electric basses were good for paddling upstream, actually. But
Thanks, Chubby.
They have like 14-string basses now, right? I mean,
Right.
you get so many strings on a bass, but this is an incredible instrument because it's a top C string bass, and it helps you to play differently. You select different patterns of notes, and you can play certain harmonics. I don't even know what I'm doing on the bass, but I look at this picture while I play the bass every day, and
For
Dad gives
inspiration.
me a bass lesson. He keeps telling me to tune my D string, but I have one of my dad's original basses from 1947. It's a K bass, and there's a gentleman in Nashville here by the name of Jim Ferguson. He's an incredible bassist and vocalist, but he also repairs basses. Mm-hmm. And he took my dad's bass that was in a museum at the NAMM Museum in California there it was in the museum for 14 years.
Wow.
Finally, they called me and said, "Hey, would you like to have your dad's bass?"
Wow.
So they mailed it to me, and I took it over to Jim, and I went over to his house, and the whole bass was taken apart in a pile of wood on the floor. And I started crying. I said,
I can
imagine. My
imagine.
dad's bass? But you know what? He put it in mint condition where it plays so beautifully. And,
Nice.
That's how I keep, my dad's spirit alive with me, whatever. Because, learning how to play pulse and groove from a bass player. And there was a tap dancer by the name of Steve Condos who could tap dance anything Buddy Rich could play on the drums.
Wow.
And so I learned rhythms and accents from a tap dancer, and pulse and groove, and how to blend in with other human beings from a bass player.
Yeah.
And then there
Good-
was a
good
drummer
influences.
by the name of- there was a drummer by the name of Don Lamond who played in the Woody Herman big band
Wow.
in the 40s with my dad. And at 4 years old, they got me a little drum set and taught me how to play. So the rest is history.
Well, and so that's a question that I had for you. So, did you pick the drums, or did they pick the drums?
Well, you know what? I was really playing a lot of piano when I was a little baby. I would just go right up to the keyboard and start hitting.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Harry Hawthorne. If anybody from the University of Miami,
Yes.
Harry. I was in diapers. Now I'm in diapers for other reasons.
Life is a beautiful cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, hey, I love it.
You haven't changed a bit, though.
Man, it's amazing, this life. I know the dear Lord put me here to put the grin on the groove and to aim the beat at your feet and eat as much Chinese food as I can put in my body.
And David Tobin mentions that your dad was in the immortal photo "A Great Day in Harlem."
Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
It was a 10 o'clock downbeat to take that picture, and my dad was there at 7 o'clock in the morning. He could be standing
There
up
you
on
go.
the top. he was standing right next to Art Blakey and Johnny Griffin, and the two remaining people that are still with us from that photograph is Benny Golson and Sonny Rollins.
Wow.
And I always said to the people that were in charge of all that hey, whoever outlives whoever the last person is should get $1 million, or something. And they probably hung up on me, but anyway. You know what, Nick? I want to show you some. I don't know if you can see it, but do you remember we played Penguins? Oh, I doubt that you can see it. But that's you playing with the University of Miami Big Band.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I know we did a few of those. That would have been around 1986, somewhere between 86 and 88.
You made me swing my butt off, man, in that big band. That was such a thrill to play those charts with you.
Well, let me tell you something.
That was an all-star band too. Everybody became superstars from that band, right?
Any band that you're in becomes an all-star band. I'm going to say this. No, and this struck me as we were looking through the videos, because I've always been a huge fan of your playing, and we did some clinics together, and you're one of those guys that I'll never forget. A clinic that you did where you were just talking about, aside from playing the groove, playing intensity, and that it doesn't matter. It's not a volume thing, and a lot of drummers get that. It's like, man, they're going to get intense, they get louder, and you played some bebop, nice tempo. And you were playing like really grooving hard, and then you just did the same thing, wham, the triple piano, and there was not the slightest drop in energy and intensity. And at that point I said, this is as good as anybody can ever play this instrument, because it was there. It was the same energy, and you're amazing.
Gaining the trust of the other musicians to the point where they permit you the freedom to accompany the artistry. The utmost compliment that I've received from musicians, is thank you for laying down the groove that I needed to tell my story.
Right.
There you go.
Once you're accepted at that level, you're given a certain freedom. Hey, Count Basie, bless his heart, he never told me how to play in his band. He permitted me total freedom to express myself. Now, when Butch Miles, the great drummer, called me and he said, hey, the chief wants to know, do you want to come on the band? Now, I had to make some soul searching happen at that time, because, physically to go on the road and pack up a drum set and, move your luggage and get on and off a bus and hug and kiss all the beautiful,
that's for another show.
That was the part I could handle. But trying to pack up drums, unfortunately I've had a whole bunch of surgery on my hips through the years, and trying to pack up a drum set is the last thing I really want to do at any time. But the main thing is it's really mind over matter. If you can say that you can play at the softest level, if you can play triple pianissimo but swing as hard as you can, then all of a sudden it can build, it can go some other places,
Sure.
Right.
Well, I see Lisa Ann is sending me.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Yes.
He's taking it. Hey, the other thing about that, I'm going to sort of piggyback on my previous comment, because the other thing is we were going through these videos of you. I've known you here in town. This is where I met you and we played together. And, we're looking at these videos. You have played with everybody.
Right.
That has, we're not talking about, you've done a lot of gigs. Sometimes you're with Basie and Ella Fitzgerald, and Monty Alexander, and Sammy Davis Jr. And
I didn't know if you knew that I was the drummer on the Pink Panther cartoon show.
I did not know that.
Did you?
In the 70s?
This is why we love this show.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about you is that it's not, man, you bring the same care and energy and respect to the music, whether it's Ella or me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm trying to always live up to what my dad taught me. That there's a certain respect and dignity that you have to adhere to be welcomed onto the major bandstands by the masters.
It's a good lesson.
Please believe me, I wasn't ready musically when I was a young kid, but my dad, bless his heart, he kind of pushed me on the bandstand, and they tolerated me because I was so adorable. When I
Still are.
Well,
Still are.
let's show how adorable, because we actually have some
I don't know
photos
what
of
happened to me.
Look
your
at that.
Look
Look
at
at that.
that.
Look at that.
Who doesn't want to pinch those cheeks?
Oh.
Can I say that in front of Duffy?
You may.
You know
Okay.
what? I was on a TV show in 1960 called I've Got a Secret. There's
Really?
a video on YouTube about it.
Oh.
And it was over the summer vacation. What did you do? You know, and I put together a jazz band, and we played Sea Jam Blues. And, Bill Cullen guessed my secret because the guitar player was tuning up behind the curtain. You know, but anyway, that picture was right during that time. Now, my dad, he went into TV in 1955. He was playing with Louis Armstrong, and my mom called him up and said, "Hey, I had 3 kids here." She had 3 kids before she was 20,
Wow.
and I was a handful by myself even. You know? So my dad came off the road, and he went into television, where he was the host of the Little Rascal movies.
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't know if you remember those with Spanky and Alfalfa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alfalfa,
Our
sure.
gang.
He was the host of the show. Plus, he had 3 string basses with faces on them that he made the voices for.
Oh boy.
And so anyway, that was like 55 through 57 in Chicago. And then we moved back to New York City, and my dad did that TV show on WABC in New York. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you could hear a big band swinging with little kids dancing and singing.
Yep.
And, my dad, that was before Sesame Street or any of the educational children's shows. You know, it was a little too hip for TV at that point, because it was jazz. My
Yeah.
dad was selling swinging, happy jazz.
Yeah.
And I was on that show over 300 times, whatever.
Nice.
I would hear my dad getting up at night, 4 in the morning to get dressed to drive into the city to do the show. And I would get dressed, and I would hide in the back seat with a blanket over me. And I wouldn't let him know I was in the car until they got to ABC,
Oh
Right.
my
What
God.
am I doing in the show today? I missed a lot of school that way, unfortunately.
I'm going to bring in a couple pictures, and maybe you can tell us about them.
Yeah.
So who are you sitting next to?
That was a guy. Let me see. I'm trying to think of his name. It will come to me afterwards. The bassist is a gentleman by the name of Arnold Fishkin. He actually sold my dad his first bass for $3.
Wow.
Oh boy.
And my dad did a job that night. He didn't know one note, but he was shaking his butt and smiling, and everybody said, "Hey, look at that bass player. He's really good."
Oh,
Right.
that's so
He
funny.
didn't hit one right note, don't.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to thank you also for playing "Darn That Dream"
Oh yeah, yeah.
as your opening. I love that arrangement.
It's a great.
Not a
Now
sweet
that was
arrangement.
Johnny Giorgini playing.
Hey, that was him conducting the band. He had
Yeah, that
it's a
was
big band he had in
beautiful.
'86. Yeah.
Beautiful rendition of it.
Thank you.
Let me tell you a history of that song. My dad was a young guy, and he would go to jam sessions in New York City, and all the great jazz players were up there swinging, and the bass player got sick all of a sudden. And so they said, "Hey, Chubby, come up here," So my dad gets up there, and they play a swinging blues and some rhythm changes, and my dad's really burning hard. Then Benny Carter called "Darn That Dream," and my dad went right in the toilet. he couldn't hit one right note. It was a kazoo to his head. I don't know. But,
That's so funny.
but that's why I know "Darn That Dream." I mean,
That was one of your first experiences of it.
Well, I mean,
And-
when my dad told me that story, I played with Benny Carter when I was 19. He called me up. He said, "Hey, you want to go to Japan?" And I said, "Yeah, when are we leaving?" "In 6 hours." What?
Oh boy.
In those days, in the 70s, 1973, "Hey, Gary, how you doing?" "Oh, hey, all my love. I think, what was it? Phil Woods was not permitted in Japan for certain reasons at that point, so they called Benny to fill in an emergency. So Benny put a quartet together, and we flew there and rehearsed behind the curtain, and then did 10 concerts.
Wow.
And but Benny was a stickler for chord changes. He would he would test you to see if you knew the form and the changes and where the bridge goes and everything.
Yeah.
So you really had to study his music and then go back to him and let him know that you know what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He was a beautiful musician and a great player. Could play good trumpet too, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
So Duffy, did it come easily? I mean, you kind of were a prodigy, weren't you?
Yeah.
Did it just come naturally to you?
Please believe me, I had a fantasy dream world with jazz the first, let's say, 20 years of my life. Then when I graduated Beach High and went out to California, my father wasn't there to protect me emotionally. And so the musicians had their way with me psychologically in certain ways,
Oh,
whatever.
no.
But it grew me up a little bit emotionally, because the masters don't want any children on the bandstand if you can get away with it.
Right.
You have to act accordingly, and if you ever tried to act like an accordion, you would understand. Anyway. No, but the main thing is I kept my mouth shut. I did what I was told. I learned beat by beat how to be more sensitive to all the great musicians that I was accompanying, and every once in a while they'd have to tell me to cool it for a minute, because I had to learn a valuable lesson that the drummer wasn't the star of the show all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, as many times as I've seen you and gotten a chance to work with you, you do it with such finesse, because you are such a big personality, and that's part of your that's part of the music. That's why it's so joyful and so wonderful. But I have found it's always a nice balance with you. Maybe you didn't when you were younger, but I mean, every time I've worked or seen you work, you just do it masterfully. You pick your moments to be big, and then you're just the support. So
The most
it's
important
a really
thing is be a team player when you're playing with other human beings. Let them really trust you. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Oh, man.
We all miss you.
Everybody misses you.
Hey, Mitch. Hey, there you are. Give Marla a big hug.
Jesse Jones was here earlier, too.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Jesse. Please believe me, my heart is still in South Florida. It will always be. I had to get away from the hurricanes and Katrina and all that.
Yeah.
And, we moved up to Nashville just in time for a tornado to come right to our doorstep.
Jeez.
Welcome to Tennessee.
Right. Think you're
It's
getting
not
away.
one thing, it's another.
Mother Nature's a little pissed off at the moment.
Yeah, I hear you.
think so.
Why,
I think
I'm going to
so.
I'm bringing a couple more picks here.
This is. Look at
Duffy,
that.
that's
Christian, Arnold was, Arnold and my dad, they were friends from the ages of like 4 years old up until they both went up to the big band in the sky. They were dear friends, and that's amazing that certain people can, just know one another that long.
Yeah.
right.
The great drummer Ray McKinley, he and my dad were actually pen pals. They would write like 20-page letters to each other.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And, I'm 7 years old. The pianist is Marnie Napoleon. That was a little gig that we played in Freeport, Long Island, where I was born.
Wow.
And let's see. I forget what song we were playing.
What's going on here? Oh, you're getting the hair there now.
The gentleman at the organ is Monty.
Okay.
No kidding.
And that
Wow.
was in 1971. After we played the Shelley's Manhole, we went to New York and played the Riverboat, which was a dance restaurant in the basement of the Empire State Building.
Wow.
Yeah, and Monty had a 10-piece band, and the bassist was Eugene Wright from the Dave Brubeck Quartet.
Oh,
And you got some memory there.
you do.
George
yeah.
Coleman was on tenor.
Was he
on that
really?
gig.
Wow.
Cecil Bridgewater was on trumpet.
Very
and,
cool.
We did that gig for 3 months, actually.
Well, you're starting to get the funk face.
Yeah, you are. And here we have you with Dad.
This was in our living room in Los Angeles in 1972. We actually had a bandstand in the living room.
Wow.
And that was Ronell Bright on piano, who used to accompany Ella and a lot of people. He and I had the same birthday, July 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Together, So anyway, Dad's grooving and we're playing, and I don't know if you could check the afro I had in those days.
Oh, yeah.
No, very, very funky for sure. And this is
This picture was from the Hideaway Lounge. I don't know.
So was this when your dad was playing "Darn That Dream" and you took the bass away to show him the right notes?
I should have done something like that, my dad, Nicky, would never let me lower the strings on his bass.
Right, he had man hands, huh?
My dad's bass, I would last like a chorus and a half. But that's when we were at the Hideaway Lounge. We did like 28 weeks, 6 nights a week until 4 in the morning, 10 to 4.
Oh, wow.
It was up in Highlandale, near the big hotel up there. I forget the name at the moment, but hey, sometimers is creeping in my psyches these days. I know I'm in Nashville. I moved to Music City, and there's no music here.
Hey.
Right, exactly. Now, please tell me this is our own Mike Levine, yes? There in the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you remember the bassist Jeff Hoke?
I do not.
No.
Yeah, he was he was really good. That's Jay Corey and Steve Condos.
Okay.
The jazz dancer who taught me the rhythms.
Wow.
Jay Corey was a Baha'i minister, and he married my first wife and I, down in Coral Gables in Coconut Grove. My friend, I don't know if you remember a gentleman by the name of Frankie Mann. He was a comedian and a great guy. I got married in his front yard, and then I jumped into a pool with my tuxedo on.
The funny thing is that I should be hysterical about that, but somehow it doesn't surprise me.
It didn't surprise me until I got out of the pool.
Right, and here's the year after that.
Oh my God! Man, look at this. There's Louis Belson on the right.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I got that jacket from, but I was with Sammy Davis Jr. in those days.
Wow.
And the young gentleman and his father right there, John Fornaceski, I believe. He had a drum music store, and I went to surprise Louis when he went and did a drum clinic there. And the young boy actually ended up playing one night with the Count Basie band.
Oh, wow.
Dan Fornaceski, and I think he was overwhelmed by the band, so he didn't really earn a second night on the band. His nickname from the guys in the band was One Night Stand.
Oh, God.
Got it. Right. Hey, here's a comment from
Muffy Richardson.
Hey.
Yeah.
Biggest thrill of my early life was
Richard
when
Munson and I went to Beach High together. We played in the Miami Beach Bagel Band together. And, he's a prominent dentist on the scene there.
Very nice. Well, speaking of Sammy, this picture is classic.
Wow, you are just a baby, honestly.
Duffy, how old would you have been there?
I'm wearing a cardigan tuxedo with
you've got some style going on there.
That was up in Lake Tahoe at Harrah's, and I was just 20 years old then. And I had already played with Lena Horne when I was 18.
Woo.
Then I actually played when I was 19. I don't know if you remember a lady by the name of Edie Adams.
I remember the name, yeah.
She was married to a very famous comedian, Ernie Kovacs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
But anyway, so I'm 20 and I'm playing with Sammy. And this was my second gig with him. I got a phone call to play the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, a big benefit with Frank Sinatra and Bob Hope and the Lennon Sisters, Leslie Young, and
He
Sammy.
also played with me. I worked with Duffy. No, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So anyway, they called me and they asked me if I wanted to go to Lake Tahoe for 3 weeks and play up there. So I said, let me check my book. I didn't have a book yet. But so I go up there and I was told not to speak to Sammy until he talked to me.
Okay.
He had that Sinatra complex. I'll tell you about that in private sometime. But so anyway, I played 2 whole weeks where I was kicking it like you wouldn't believe. And finally, the second show, Saturday night, the second week, Sammy went into his Blood, Sweat, and Tears medley, which I had not played yet with him. But I had heard him on television the week before that on the Merv Griffin show, and I played that whole medley a year from
Wow.
memory. 'Cause I
Nice.
didn't have a chance to get the music out, So, and then after that, he gave me an unbelievable introduction and had me come out front and take a bow.
Ooh.
Nice.
So then, around 5 minutes before this picture was taken, I was in his dressing room drinking champagne with him.
Sweet.
And
You
he
were in
welcomed
the
me
in
to-
crowd at that point.
Yeah. I said, hey, in my infinite lack of understanding, I said, hey, Mr. D, how come you've been fluffing me for 2 weeks? And he said, I was testing you. And I
Oh
said,
my
"Did I pass my
gosh.
test?" And he said, yeah.
Did you guys jam on drums at all together?
Oh, yeah. You know what's beautiful? Louis Bellson, bless his heart, gave me one of his old Rogers drum sets from the 50s. And I used that drum set on the Sammy Davis, Sammy and Company TV show, which we did. And so anyway, I'm up in Lake Tahoe. Now, Louis gave Sammy the same exact drum set, but all the rims and stands were all gold plated.
Ooh, wow.
It's like $50,000 drum set, right? So I asked Sammy, I said, hey, do you want me to tune them up and, make them nice? He said, don't touch my drums, but we're going to go after each other later tonight. So
Nice.
I get up there and we're playing How High the Moon, and Sammy's in front on his drums, and I'm in the back, and he waved me out from playing Soft Time, just to hold the band together, because he was way out front on stage. And so now he's playing, but the thing is, all his drums were all detuned.
Ooh.
So there was no rebound action, so he's like really scuffling. So he turned around and looked at me, hey, play. And I held my hands like this and said, okay, no. And I sat there and I let him hang himself. And,
You were too much.
That didn't go over too well. That day.
No.
But the thing is, Sammy loved me. He loved my dad with Woody Herman's band. I was invited up to his suite, all of his musicians. We weren't invited in as much as ordered to be there. But it was a big party for Shirley MacLaine and her entourage.
Ooh.
Shirley MacLaine was in the audience for the midnight show. So I go up to Sammy's suite, and he's playing Woody Herman's band with my dad, and he's cranking up the bass all the way. I mean, it was ridiculous. So anyway, Shirley MacLaine comes up to me, and I had just put around 45 shrimps in my pocket to take back to the hotel. And so she said, is your father Chubby Jackson? And I said, yeah. And she said, give this to your father for me. And she stuck her tongue down my throat
Oh my God.
and gave me a wet kiss from another zip code somewhere. And next thing I realized, they're picking me up off the floor. I totally passed out.
Oh my God.
And I said, you want me to give that to my father? I said, is this what show business is all about?
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Elvis was in the audience one night, and Sammy was famous. Hey, Jamie! Sammy was famous for walking off the stage. He would sing like 2 or 3 standards with just me playing the tom-toms behind him. And then he said, here's Duffy Jackson. And he would go downstairs and hang out and party his brains out, leaving me on the bandstand for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Now, at that altitude of Lake Tahoe, 1 minute is too long to play a drum. So I'm like scuffling to play, and I know he's partying downstairs, and he comes back on stage with the same outfit he had on, but in a different color.
Oh,
With
wow.
all the rhinestones and
Yeah.
jewelry, So anyway, I stretched out, and Elvis was sitting right in the front row and got to
Ooh.
see it. And after the show, I'm packing up my stuff, and Elvis comes backstage, and he was around 20 feet away, but he said, hey, drummer! And he gave me this. He gave me the sign there, like
Yeah.
Okay. So, playing for all the superstars and everything, it was a great education to learn how to support an artist. When I was 18, I was backing up Lena Horne with a 60-piece orchestra with strings, and I would play brushes, and you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Right.
But, the interesting thing, Duffy, is, how many times have I been in the same room with you and hung out on breaks and things, but this is not something that you are like dropping names about.
Ever.
Or I really, I knew that you've had an amazing career, but when we started really looking it up, I was just like, hot damn, this man did everything.
In fact, since we were on the topic of Sammy and the show, Sammy and Company, let's take a listen to Where or When from the show, and you're in the band with Sammy Davis Jr.
Woo!
We have a song we'd like to do. I think you know the permanent members of the crew and the family and the company. For instance, Mr. George Rhodes in the orchestra, ladies and gentlemen. We got one we'd like to lay on you. Go ahead, George, let's cook. It seems we stood and talked like this before. We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when. The clothes you're wearing are the clothes you wore. The smile you are smiling, you were smiling then, but I can't remember where or when. Some things that happen for the first time seem to be happening again. And though it seems that we have met before, and we've laughed before, and we've loved before, but who knows where or when. Take the band. We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when. Some things that happen for the very first time seem to be happening again. And though it seems that we have met before, we have loved before, yes, we proved before, but who knows where or when. Who knows where or when.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
He.
Wow.
That was John Faddis playing lead trumpet.
Oh, wow.
Al McKibben was the great bassist, played with Dizzy Gillespie. He was in that band. Paul Smith was the great pianist that accompanied Ella and everybody. And, that was an amazing time in my life. It really was. 1974 through 76, I was Sammy's drummer all over the world. And he was winning the Singer of the Year award in Vegas. I mean, he was pretty hot at that time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, as a singer, he's probably one of my favorites. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, time feel and just facility. Yeah, just amazing.
I spent 20 minutes alone with him in St. Louis in his suite one night, and we had a beautiful, loving talk. Now, I was never given that luxury again, but at least he knew who I was.
Yeah.
He accepted me as a little bit off to the left.
No.
But he loved my groove, and I always called him Mr. D.
Yeah.
I never called him Sammy or whatever, and he was a great drummer. He had some chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, man,
he could get around.
Great dancer, great, played drums,
yeah.
could sing,
Super
scat,
talent.
I did want to mention really quickly, because I know, I want to reiterate, this happens, we do this every week, but we I have a tip jar. And I just want everybody to know that, as musicians, we have not worked in many, many, many months. And the reality is, we don't know when we're going to be able to work again, live and in person. So, things that Duffy has been doing, not just touring, not just, playing, gigs, but clinics. And going and working with students and any kind of, revenue creating jobs, they're gone, So, I just want to put it out there. We would love to show our musicians, as much love as we can, both in our words and in our actions. So if you are in a position to, give a little something in the tip jar, all of the money that you'll give tonight will go directly to Duffy. We don't take anything, we don't share. It's all to Duffy, and we will match the first $100. So that means he'll get some even extra. So the thing to do is, it's sometimes a little confusing. You text the word tip jar. Like where you would put it, if you're texting somebody, the message part says tip jar, and the number that you're going to send it to is 44321. You'll get a text back immediately that will have a link, a very safe and secure link to send as much as little or as much. There's no right or wrong. We just like to show the love and support, because like I said, some people are teaching and they have not lost their teaching gigs. But if you are a working musician, like Duffy is, he has not worked in how many months? Oh, many, many, many. Yeah. So,
we're all in that.
So
boat.
anything you can do to show some love is much appreciated, and you can feel safe and secure knowing that all of it will go to him. So that's it. I'm done with the spiel. We don't have to talk anymore about that. But
right.
just know that it's a scary time, because we don't want to put anybody in danger, because I know that things are starting to open up, but all of our fans that we would want to play for, we don't want to endanger them in any way. So we're being very, very cautious when we're going to actually do live gigs or not. So in our small way, this is the way we can bring music to you,
I wish I could give you a big kiss right now.
send one of those Shirley MacLaine type
Oh my God!
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I thought you were going to tell me she actually could taste. She actually ate the shrimp out of your pocket. She stuck your tongue.
When I fell down, I crushed the 50 ribs I put in my other bucket. Oh, I made sure I took at least $200 of the buffet with me back then.
That's so crazy.
You can't put a price tag on the joyous groove that we feel when everybody's paying attention and behaving themselves, and the human chemistry when it comes together. It's extraordinary. It really is. Let me just show you this picture here. Somebody sent me this picture. I don't know if you can see it. Wait.
Okay.
There's Ira and Paul.
That was Jazz at the Gables.
Yeah. Somebody sent me this picture, and my dad did a big band concert in 1968 at the Miami Arena. I don't know if you remember.
Oh wow!
I do remember.
It was a big.
I saw Natalie Cole there. Yeah.
And so anyway, it was Mike Vitro had a funk band. Billy Butterfield had a Dixieland band. Ira had the modern jazz band. And then my dad's big band played, and that was the first half. Then the second half was Duke Ellington's orchestra. What unbelievable concert, really. And Duke got to hear me, and the next night I went up to West Palm Beach to hear his band at the Coliseum up there. And Duke never left the piano once he got up there. He was always composing on the intermissions. And so I went to say hello to him. I was sitting in the wings, So after a while, Duke said, "Hey, Duffy, get up there." I said, "What? Get up where?" He invited me to play and kept me up there the last whole second half, 90 minutes. Hey, Marie, how you doing? So I played the last 90 minutes of the concert with him, not knowing any of the songs.
Wow.
And just keeping my eyes on Duke, and it was swinging so hard with just the rhythm section that the whole band, they were well known for not really getting back on the bandstand as quickly. They were running to the stage to get a taste of that groove.
Wow.
Jeff Castleman was the bassist. He was a 20-year-old bassist with Duke at the time, and we were swinging, man.
Wow.
And Duke told me that he enjoyed Ira's group very much. It was a beautiful melodic experience, and it really turned him on. And then when he heard me with the big band, he wanted me to sit in with his band.
Very cool.
You see how the dear Lord works in wondrous ways. The next night, I'm up there playing with
There
Duke.
you go.
That's awesome.
I had a cassette tape of it for around 4 days, and then it got chewed up in the machine.
And the pencil that you stuck back.
To try and edit a cassette tape. Hey, there's the chief.
Yeah.
Oh.
How did that happen? How did you get hooked up with Count Basie?
First of all, when my dad lived in Chicago, when he was doing his TV show, we had a penthouse where my dad had an enclosed basketball court on the top of the building. And all the jazz musicians used to come over to my dad's penthouse after their gigs and shoot baskets at like 4 a.m. And
oh my gosh.
I'm sure they partied in certain ways that I wasn't ready for yet. But the main thing is that my dad used to wake me up when I was 3 years old to play brushes on a chair and scat for all his friends.
Oh my gosh.
So Basie is playing with me. He was holding me and everything. My mom used to have pictures of that, but of course I didn't get copies. But the main thing is that Basie knew me when I was a young baby.
Wow.
And then when I was 12 years old, Don Lemon took me to hear the Basie band at the Riverboat Club in New York. And Sonny Payne, unfortunately, his wife passed away, and he had to go out to California and take care of business. So Don Lemon played with the Basie band for 2 weeks at the Riverboat. And the night I went there, Don asked Basie if I could sit in.
Wow.
And I played a song by Frank Foster called Shiny Stockings.
Yeah.
One of the classic hits of the band. And Sweets, Harry Edison was still in the band. Lockjaw Davis was still in the band. And everybody was playing extra choruses, and people are dancing. And it was just such an orgasmic vibe that I was playing Time in the Basie band at midnight, and so right at the end of the tune where there's a little drum lick, da, 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 and then the band comes in, everybody stopped playing. So did I, because I didn't know. Hey, Larry! Larry says I'm just a son of a bass player.
That's right.
Okay. But so anyway, the whole band stopped, so I stopped. But that was really where the drum fill needed to be. And Basie looked at me and said, "Play it, boy." So I played on band crash, and I got through the song. He didn't let me sit in with the band for 7 years after that.
Oh my gosh. You were punished.
Yeah, so anyway, the band was playing up at the Boca Raton Hotel, and my dad and we were playing a gig with Edie Adams there. So we packed up and went to see the last set of the night. And unfortunately, Sonny Payne had a couple extra drinks before the set, and he wasn't in any condition to play. So Basie got me up there, and I played the rest of the night. I played the last 10 tunes of the night. But the thing is, the first tune was Shiny Stockings, and when it got to that point where the drum lick was, he looked at me like this. So I took care of business. So he kept me up there. So around 10 days later, I get an emergency phone call from my dad in Miami saying that Sonny Payne has to take off a couple of days and the band needs you up in, where was it? Somewhere near Sarasota or something like that, So I was in Palm Beach driving a rent-a-car from Miami because my car was in the shop. So I'm paying mileage and gas and the whole thing. So they didn't have a turnpike yet even. I'm driving up Route 1
Oh wow.
all the way up to Sarasota. I stopped at Sears and bought a pair of black pants and a white shirt because I was in like t-shirt and jeans, you know. So I get there around 20 minutes before the downbeat, and Count Basie and Sonny Payne said, Sonny will play tonight, and then you play the next 3 nights. And I said, oh, that's great, that's great. So I sat in front of the Basie band. I ate a gigantic steak. I had 3 shrimp cocktails and 12 Cokes.
Wow.
I dug the Basie band.
Breakfast of champions.
Playing, and Sonny played the greatest big band drums I'd ever heard.
Mm.
But he was guzzling gin in between tunes on the bandstand.
Oh.
Now that was a no-no, right?
Yeah.
So he was banned from the Basie bus. He tried to start a fight with some of the guys.
Oh boy.
So I'm driving Sonny in my rent-a-car, following the band bus, you know, back to wherever they were staying that night. So anyway, I played the next 3 nights, and I'm driving all over the place with the rent-a-car following the bus. We ended up in Cocoa Beach. So at the end of the 3 days or whatever, you know, Basie said, how much do you want? And I said, well, can I make a bill a night at least? Now this was 1973. I said, a bill a night? Oh my God, you know. So he gave me the bread. I drove to Miami. I paid the rental car. It was, I think, $294.
Oh.
And I got $6 back, and I went and got a Royal Castle hamburger. And I said, I can't make this up, you know.
Yeah.
So that was me playing on the band when I was 19. But then I actually joined the band when I was 26. And at that time, I was the youngest drummer to be hired by Count Basie at that time.
Wow.
You know,
Amazing. Well, we have a clip of The Big Show, and let's give that a listen. This is Duffy Jackson with the Count Basie Band. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only kid from Red Bank, Mr. Count Basie and his orchestra.
Wow.
That is so exciting.
I'm totally
You-
exhausted.
You have, honestly, you have to have been the person that they did Animal, the drummer, on. You know? It has to be. It's just too much. It's just so perfect.
Wow.
Hey, do you want to quick? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Duffy.
No, I'm a little emotional about the whole thing. I haven't played since Friday the 13th of March.
Oh.
Now I play piano and bass every day, and I'm keeping my head lubricated with chord changes I don't know, and whatever. But the main thing, the groove is what the world needs right now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we do need a vaccine.
Yes. Also that.
People just need to listen to some time being played, and I get together with bassists, and I just walk time without anybody else around, and we hear so much music on top of it, but we're
Yep.
not trying to accompany anybody.
Right.
So there's total freedom to just take it wherever you want,
Yep.
But
And
it soothes your soul. It really does.
It does soothe your soul, but the thing, as much as like we're doing the show every Monday, and most everybody does something live, like actual live, in time, but it's just not the same. It's not the same thing as being in the same room and with the people and the energy and having it go directly into our our bodies. It's such a sad thing that we're missing. It really is.
Drums are a very important part of music if they're played properly. You have to be as sensitive as any other instrumentalist on the bandstand.
Yeah.
To just be part of a human experience, and once everybody trusts one another, that then the music graduates to a whole nother level of
Yep.
intensity. But intensity, dynamic intensity, Hey, I'm known, or I used to be known for playing a lot of brushes. in
Right.
Nashville.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
a fantastic brush player.
Brushes are really an important part of what drummers do here.
Yep.
And you almost have to earn your right to pick up a stick.
Right. Oh, that's
You have
true.
to prove that you can keep a groove going with the
Right.
brushes, and gently relax people to the point where they trust you. I mean, that's basically what it is, and I'm very trustworthy.
You are.
Look at that face. Hey, I heard something about you scatting, and we saw a little bit of it in the earlier video. But I believe that you promised us a little bit of scatting.
I have to see what.
What do you think?
Here for a minute. Let me see.
I want you to scat on Lush Life.
Darn that dream.
Let me see. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know if are there any legalities about being able to play Jamie Aebersold?
Nah. If there is, we'll find out about it.
Kenny Barron and Ron Carter and get the drummer at the moment. Now this is a song that everybody knows, so if you want to join in, feel free.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get close because it's gonna be a lag though.
Now the blues scale is very easy.
Doobadoo, doobadoo. Doobadoo.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, you're killing it, of course. But in fairness, it's hard not to swing with Jamie Aebersold's Count Off.
That's right. Oh my God. So what Jamie doesn't know what to think about me. I played one of the Jazz Educators conventions in like 1984. Harold Danko on piano and Todd Kuhlman on bass, and myself. We were the rhythm section that backed up everybody for 5 years in a row there. But the thing is, I played a jam session with Jamie. Ira was on it, and around 20 horn players. Now we're playing Now's the Time for an hour and 32 minutes. Wow. And it finally got to the point where everybody played. So instead of me taking a drum solo, I started to scat.
Ooh.
Jamie has refused to talk to me ever since then. 1984. If he sees me walking, he'll cross the street and go to the...
Oh my gosh.
I cherish what he's done to give us all this beautiful music to jam with and to, just teach ourselves, this language. I wish I could thank him personally, but I don't think he'll go for it.
Well,
that's all right.
His loss.
Well, speaking of someone that can scat and swing a little bit, let's take another listen and we'll pick up Duffy's life stories. There's so much to talk about.
I know. We're like not even. We're like in what 1980 maybe.
79. We haven't even gotten to the 80s. But this is these are some pretty good musicians.
Yeah.
Only man fix those temples. Count Basie.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't mind them, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Flowers droop inside when they pass you by, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Say, don't go home and buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. You're so sweet when you stir it up. Drip, drip, drip from your lips. The honey fairly drips from your lips. And I know the reason why. You're my honeysuckle rose. Ba-ba, the dip, that ba-ba-ba, dee-dee. Ba-ba-dee-dee-do-ba-do-ba-do-dee-dee. Ba-ba-dee-dee-dee-dee. You're my honeysuckle rose. Flowers sigh, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Oh, be-ba-do, be-ba-da, be-ba-ba. panty drip, honey panty drips from your lips, and I know the reason why your much goodness knows. Honey, honey, say the honey, you're my honeysuckle rose, you're my honeysuckle rose. Flowers through back a tie, where can they back you by? Woo, you're sweet goodness knows you're my honeysuckle rose. Say I don't buy sugar, you just have to touch my girl. You're my sugar, you're the sugar sweet, and when you sugar in the hug, say the honey drip, 'cause you're the sweetest, goodness knows you're my honeysuckle rose, you're my honeysuckle rose drip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, wait a minute. I hear some bass. But what's going on?
and
Give us some, Duffy.
I was playing.
Yeah, but the lag. Ooh. Uh-huh. Woo. Oh!
I got stuck there.
You know, it's not like you've been working on this for a long time or anything.
Oh, look at that. Oh. I still have those pants, I think. Anyway.
Man.
Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. You know, something very, very unique about this bass. It's a plywood K bass. It's not an expensive instrument, you know, but it's a loud sounding instrument, you know. But let me see. These strings were put on in 1980.
Oh.
Wow.
Now you know how long strings last, right? I mean,
yes.
A year or two, you know, whatever, right? 1980, the same strings, and it sounds. You know what? I want to play a little groove for you right now with the 5-string bass.
Yes.
You could do like 3, 6, 2, 5, 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn around, whatever. if you go on the top C string, if you go like this and then hit all the open strings, that's the turnaround.
Right.
You know. So anyway.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I love this instrument. You know, if you hit a B flat with the extra C string, you can do this. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
You're just showing off now. You're just showing off.
You know, please believe me, my fingers are begging me to stop.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean,
I can't even imagine what I don't know. You know, I look up to Ella so much, and to be your age and playing, you know, accompanying that swing that she has, and I don't know. I wish I could have just been sitting in, like, I wish I could have just set your drums up for you. You know, I would have just, you know, been your roadie, because that was amazing.
You know, we were playing at Royal Albert Hall with the Basie band with Ella, and I went to hear the rehearsal, and her drummer used my drums, you know. So the thing is, during the intermission, I walked up to the stage, and instead of Ella saying, "Hey Duffy, how you doing?" she went boo 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 wow. So I went wow, and we had like 4 or 5 exchanges together before I gave her a big hug. And I said that was the safest sex I ever had in my life. But, you know, Ella actually let me scan with her for 10 seconds.
Wow, yeah.
Hey, Duffy, have you ever been starstruck?
Yeah, I am right now, just looking at you.
oh, smart ass.
I love you guys for 70 mental reasons. No, the main thing is that I have a certain attitude where, you know, I'm not a competitive musician. I'm a fan of anybody who wants to express themselves with this language. And I can take a musical lesson from any instrumentalist if it helps me clarify the truth of the groove.
I found that the best musicians have that attitude.
You know, intonation is a very important thing on drums, and also circular breathing on piano is very important. You know, but for the most part, you know, you have to take a little bit of a childlike attitude about this whole thing. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, the pandemic is forcing me to investigate my early years and come up with a book called Jazz Baby. Because of all the people that I played with as a young person through my dad's association, you know, I don't think any of the young drummers today can bridge the gap from being taught by the great drummers of the past. But being that my dad played with them and he instilled that energy into my heart, that's what separates me from any of the great drummers. Hey, I'm a fan, Dave Weckl, Dennis Chambers. They even have like little 8-year-old lady Japanese drummers that can play 10,000 beats a second.
Right.
And I'm definitely turned on in many ways about that. And, you know, just going to Japan 6 times with Lionel Hampton and Basie and Benny Carter and everything, they love the groove. We could be in a concert hall with 5,000 people and they are clapping impeccably in tempo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's always amazed me.
Yeah.
You know? Now, hey, 1 and 3 can swing in its own way as long as you latch on to a pulse.
Right.
You know, it's about rhythms and accents. You know, I tell people embrace the triplets with accents. You know, and just figure out how you could find the pocket of the groove.
Right.
Just tear it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my kind of best lessons, I think, was from Vince Maggio.
Yeah.
And he told me, you know, especially when you're in a duo or a trio situation, you need to be part of the rhythm section. And if you're not part of the rhythm section, you're not helping anybody. So it really made me think about singing in a different way. Like, okay, I'm not just floating over the time. I'm part of the time now, you know?
Yeah.
So that was huge for me.
Vince, you know, what an amazing educator. I mean, he can inspire you to understand why he was so dedicated to making sure the groove was happening first.
Right.
Because you could be playing all the great changes and soloing all over, you know, the Dorian Gray modes and everything. You know, but I mean, I just, you know, I've tried to master the chromatic scale in every key, actually. You know, I mean, you're half a step away from a harmonious note.
There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need.
I heard Joe Donato play like that on a gig one time. I'll tell you.
Oh.
You know. Anyway, you know, but hey, you know, you have to have a sense of humor. The joke's on you trying to play jazz in a world of transvestite rock and roll. Which is good.
You're doing it though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing it already.
What can you tell us about this?
I find that I play better bass naked than I do with clothes on. Actually.
Oh.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Please do.
Yeah. What can you tell us about this little drum battle that you had with Lionel Hampton?
Oh, you know, Lionel was one of the geniuses of music. He knew how to just inspire an audience to be built up to such a frenzy and, you know, a tumult, whatever. But when we played at Disneyland, I was on crutches. I needed my hip replaced.
Oh.
So I was bedridden in the daytime, and they put me on the drum stool at night to play with the band. So I wasn't at my best physically But hey, when the red light comes on, you do what you have to do, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The show must go on.
So this was you not at your best, is what you're saying.
Well, hey, even my worst is mediocre. But anyway. But Hamp and I had a wonderful understanding. There was a time at the North Sea Jazz Festival. We closed the show on the last night of the festival, and George Wein, bless his heart, told Lionel that he could play as long as he wanted to, which was the worst thing he could have told him. So we're up there for 4 hours and 14 minutes without a break.
Ouch.
Now all the horn players went home like an hour before that, and I'm on the bandstand just keeping time and whatever. So finally, I thought I was having a heart attack because so I got. You remember Barry Reese?
Sure.
Yeah.
Player?
Yeah.
Barry was playing trumpet in the band, and when my hips were hurting, I'd say, "Hey, Barry," and he would come over and take over the drums.
Yeah, because he was a very good drummer.
Do you know that Burnin' CD of Abersong? It's called Burnin', where they play up tempos.
I probably
Barry
have it.
playing drums.
Wow.
And he's so smooth and swinging. He's really a great musician.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back to Hamp, I pulled my tux jacket off. I took my shirt off. Now I'm topless in front of 5,000 people at North Sea Jazz Festival. And I went over and started playing the piano on some blues. Hamp was in the audience giving the microphone to anybody that wanted to scat by that point.
Wow.
By the way, this is Duffy without a shirt, just so in case you guys want to know.
Yay!
You don't have to imagine it now. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, so.
What I had to do to get paid. But and that was out on the lunch court of the university there. Where the band used to play at lunch.
Sure, yeah.
And it's 200 degrees would close.
Right. No, it's justified.
So anyway, all of a sudden, Hamp gets back on stage, and he realizes that I'm like, topless, and how come I'm not playing drums? So I grab the mic, and he grabs the other mic, and we start scatting back and forth. Oh my God, we're building it up to a peak. So he grabbed the mic away from me right in the middle of the thing. So I did something that was a little musically sacrilegious, but I jumped on his vibes and took like 12 choruses.
Oh, so have you done that before?
No.
Like, you just were sort of whacking away at the.
I didn't care if I got fired or whatever at that point. I was done. So anyway, I'm swinging and the band's playing riffs behind me, and all of a sudden I hear Hamp behind me say, "Get off my vibes, Gates." He used to call everybody Gates.
Okay.
He couldn't remember his own name. So anyway, I went in the trumpet section and put on the derby and started playing riffs with the trumpet section. And Hamp's manager is trying to pull me off stage, and they finally got me off stage. And I thought I was going to get fired, and Hamp gave me a raise to go to Disneyland right after that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll have to remember that next time I need a raise.
He loved the whole bit,
So check out this drum battle with Lionel Hampton and Duffy Jackson.
How fun is that, though?
I can't believe I was part of anything like that.
Right?
I had just eaten 10 hot dogs at before that set. I couldn't even reach the snare drum. I didn't know what I was playing. Anyway.
Well, something that we haven't talked about much, but I know everybody that I've talked to that about you has always talks about what a giver you are as far as giving back to the community and giving back to students and whatnot. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to bring on with us somebody that knows you well in that capacity and also has toured a little bit with you. But we're bringing on my cohort in crime, Jim Gazier, to kind of talk about a little bit about what you do with the kids and whatnot.
Jim, how you doing, brother? Hey.
Oh, I'm doing so. I've just had so much fun, just being with with you over the last hour and a half, behind your back maybe, but just listening to everything and just hearing you share. It's just so beautiful.
Wendy, I took Jim and Jamie to Bern, Switzerland, and these guys got up at the crack of dawn and went exploring all over, climbing mountains and everything. And if I would have known that, I would have been like going nuts. But Jim, you are one of the most exquisite musicians I've ever played with. And hey, there's Jamie too. Yay!
Yeah.
I tore up the Chinese buffet over there, but I shouldn't have ordered the liver, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you that story later. But just to accompany Jim's artistry and to see how beautifully he works with his students, they love him dearly. And do you remember the little scat sessions that we would get into in the band room with your students? And
absolutely. And
Jamie's scat. I mean Jamie too, but I mean Jim is a scat singing fool, man.
Oh yes.
You got that right.
The full part anyway.
How's Peggy?
Peggy's great. We're just kind of locked in the house together. Sometimes we're chasing after each other with various utensils.
As long as they're plastic.
She runs one way with the kitchen pots, and then I go the other way, it's good. I mean, and now teaching virtually, teaching big band online and stuff. You can only imagine how crazy it is. But
it's a challenge.
But it's we're gonna get back to normal. Some of the students are doing actually rather well through this time, and most of us, myself and the students, really are missing the human connection, that important chemistry of making music together, and something that you have. I mean, it's as true a statement as I could make. I mean, no human being has shown my students how to make music together and have more fun doing it than you. And you the kind of energy that you've brought into the jazz band room, and how floored the drummers are, and just every single student in the room, and really the beauty is we're really doing the same thing, the same type of thing, when you're not there. It's just that when you get there, now we're playing the same chart, but the students are feeling some kind of deep connection with rhythm and melody, and just the togetherness. And you've playing concerts with you and the students, and it's absolutely incredible. Your touch and what you do on the drum set and with and really it's unparalleled.
I agree.
We're really doing the Lord's work in many, many ways. I mean, this is a language that you learn to speak and write and communicate. I've gone to certain parts of the world and I couldn't speak their language, but I communicated with the groove.
Absolutely.
So it's a very easy way to just give people a musical hug and let them know that, hey, all the people my dad played with, they instilled a certain dedication in his heart to play rhythm and time for people. And my dad put that into me, and I put it into you and Nikki, and you know what I mean? So it's about spreading the joy. There's Funky Papa. Yeah. We were wearing bathing suits in that picture. But, you know, the main thing, hey, you know, the father and son love. I mean, Jim, you know, I know how much you and your dad loved each other, right? You know,
Yeah.
and it's just our fathers are here, our earth fathers, to just gently ease us in the right direction and tickle our musical funny bone a little bit and plant seeds of love and intelligent thinking into our hearts. You know, I built myself as the Johnny Appleseed of jazz all my life, and anybody who wants a little taste of Duffy-itis can have it. Hey,
I'm sure that sounded better in your head, Duffy.
Let me get back to you about that. You know, there's no vaccine for Duffy-itis. I mean,
That's right. Nobody can find the cure.
Oh my God.
And nobody wants the cure. That's the truth.
I'm a little confused on the super spreader event approach on how to bring people together. You know, I wear my mask if I'm going to the toilet. I mean, for certain. But you know, you have to wash your hands, and you know, my wife Marina. I mean, she's so beautiful. She's tolerating me. You know, because I'm not the easiest person to live with. I have to admit.
Hey, and a special shout out to Marina because she got all the
pictures.
photos
Yes.
and the video links and helped with the setup. She's
Thank you.
Hey,
she's
Marina,
aces.
they're talking about you.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't be here without her.
She loves watching tennis and certain British crime shows and everything. And the
Oh look.
they love you. They're talking about you. You want to say hello to the people? No. Oh, she's watching the BritBox. Okay. You know, there's Peggy. Hey, Peggy.
Woo woo, Peggy! Yeah.
You know what? It's such a blessing to share this time with you folks right now, and the love that's being shared is priceless to me.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Belmont University last week. They asked me to come in and just do a little 50-minute thing. Hey, Jim, the pianist that I played with at Belmont, she's 6'4" and 19 years old.
Ooh.
And she was swinging, man. I told her how much I looked up to her, but she didn't. But the bass player, Roy Vogt.
Oh yeah, I know Roy. He was one of my very first teachers.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
Roy and I do a lot of playing together.
Cool.
You know, and we've been doing a jazz vespers at this church for almost 6 years.
Nice.
Where we play, and you know, I think having a little church feeling is a good thing right now. You know, I'm not praising or telling anybody to get into their spirituality in as much as it's a personal thing, whatever. But when Ira went up to the big band in the sky, it was a little emotional for me. I apologize.
I'm
I
sure.
couldn't really, you know, communicate like this, you know. And I also had a beautiful moment too when Michael went up there too, man. You know, we burned a lot, man. And
I know.
We're a pretty
Yeah.
good rhythm section, you know.
Not bad.
Then Gacy came into town and
All hell broke loose.
yeah, you know. But I have to just thank everybody on the South Florida musical scene for just remembering me. You know, I'm very easy to forget. You know.
Oh no.
Come on now.
No.
It's hard to be humble when you know what you're doing. You know.
You know what? It's so funny because you are a humble guy, but there is an element of what we do that takes confidence. You know, you can't do it without confidence, but you can't be an ass about it.
Well,
you know,
yeah. It's better to just. I remember my dad when he put me on the plane from Miami Beach High School to go out to LA to play with Ray Brown. He told me two things. He said, "Keep your mouth shut and play your butt off."
Right.
Now, I forgot the first part for some reason. I don't know what happened to me, but anyway. You know, I've been trained by the masters, and I hope to still have a couple of choruses of blues left in me, you know, whatever. You know, I've been playing 63 years. I've tried to keep time in this world.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know what a career means. I mean, hey, I still can play, but I don't
Yes,
know
you
if the
can.
world needs me anymore or whatever.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
Well,
More than ever, probably.
You know, so you say that, but what I find it fascinating is one of the things when I was looking at some videos, I found you playing with Vince Gill and the Time Jumpers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there you are in Nashville, and you get on the, you know, it's a Western swing feel, but it's all the same stuff, and it's burning like mad.
We've got
I
was at the Ryman Theater, which is considered Carnegie Hall in Nashville.
Right.
And
So this is you bringing jazz and you know into this country mix. It's just so good.
Let's listen to it, as a matter of fact, and then you can tell us some more about it afterwards.
Okay.
Check it out.
So good.
I hope I remember the words. goodness do. So lady, what are you doing with me?
You see, Duffy Jackson bringing down the
They're
rhyme.
lucky to have
Come
you.
on.
They're lucky to have you up there.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Thank you. Hey, that was 10 days after I had a pacemaker put in me. And I wasn't sure if I
Insane.
could play,
Wow.
but if I was going to go out then, that would have been a good place. But I held on, you know.
It's impossible to listen to you without a smile on one's face, man. It's just, you're so joyful and just musically exquisite.
Putting the grin on the groove is my whole life.
The grin on the groove.
Aiming to beat
I like it.
is my whole life. You know, I mean, just if you can embrace that philosophy, then it's a good foundation to develop what you want to communicate with the musical language, you know?
Yeah.
And just have, as I say, compassion for people clapping on 1 and 3. You know, that's very popular up here for some ridiculous reason. But, you know, just know that people are searching to find their way musically. And if
Right.
you can ever give them a little helping hand, I think it's the right thing to do. Jim is the most exquisite educator of the younger people down there. And I can't wait to come back, man. You know?
Oh man, we can't wait for you to come back.
Will you visit us at least?
I need Jim to take me back to that barbecue place where he spilled the wings all over me. You know?
Sparky's.
That was some good barbecue, I'll tell you. Anyway,
Yeah,
Well-
this is.
Well,
place
I
is
can't.
special.
We don't know when it's going to happen, but when everything opens back up, it's going to be so fun to get to see everybody and hug everybody and play
Yeah.
music with everybody and
Yeah.
not have to worry about anything. And I'm
Just,
really
just
looking.
have a little prayer in your heart for all the people and all the families that are being challenged by this situation. I don't have any answers why it's happening, but
Right.
It's bringing us all together.
In its own way, yeah.
I don't know what to say about the political situation. I'm not a political person,
Right.
on or off the bandstand, but I'm rooting for people to come together because we're all Americans, you know.
That's true.
Whatever your party affiliation is, we're still Americans,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to embrace and be grateful to live in this exquisite country that we're in, and you know, just hope for the best. And as soon as it's legal, you know, I don't understand that one of the main situations of entertainment, you know, it's not legal for us to even, you know, express ourselves at the moment. I'm a little confused about that, but I'm practicing. You know, I can play in A flat and D flat almost as well as I can play in C and F now. So it's taken my whole life, you know. But I mean,
Well, you know, we've figured out ways of being creative, you know, in different ways, and that's the human spirit, like vomiting forth, you know, freshness or something. I don't know, something that we gotta keep moving. So
thank you so much for doing what you're doing right now, because people are starving for some truth in the groove and entertainment and everything, and music will always set your soul free.
Listen,
And,
Duffy, I think what we need to do is we need to make a line of T-shirts and hats that just say, you know, all these, you know, the grin on the groove, and you know, I know I think we need to do something. We need to come up with some.
If anybody has any ideas on how to, make a living without playing music, I wish they'd enlighten me, whatever. I will always play. I'll always be a player,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not the business person I thought I used to be when my dad and I worked together. We made a lot of bread together. But then when my dad retired, I couldn't sell myself for $10, so.
Well,
I was thinking of selling myself to science. And my
Science
Anyway.
fiction.
listen,
Yeah,
I gotta,
really, yeah, that's
I gotta tell you, Duffy, when it's been about. Bruce Pulver says hello, and
Thank you, Bruce.
he's the one who actually kind of got this thing rolling for us. He says, "Do you guys know Duffy?" And I said, "Yeah, but I haven't heard from him in a while." And he says, "Well, anyway, he put us in touch." And when I told people, and when we told people that you were going to be a guest, I cannot tell you how many people were just so happy,
Yeah.
and have written emails and just communicated in one way or another. And some of them have showed up and made comments. You're just a person that really brings that out in
Thank you
people.
so much, Nikki.
So thank you.
A shout out to Ron Murphy too. I wonder if Ron could give me some drum lessons. I kind of need to take a drum lesson from Ron. But and just spread joy and happiness wherever you go, and
Yes.
play as many beautiful chords as you can. Because people need. Let me see if I got this. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Let's have a moment of
Are
silence.
you putting your pants on?
No, I'm taking my shoe off so I can
Okay.
get the sustain pedal. Let's have a moment of silence for all the trombone players delivering pizzas right now. Anyway. That's D flat. I know you know it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
You're so talented.
Thank you.
Hate
Thank
you.
For the
No,
love.
just-
Thank you for the love. I'm going to go beg my wife for something very wonderful at the moment.
Grape,
Good.
Made from grapes?
Well, hopefully.
All right. Hey, well,
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your stories and your talent and all of this with us. And we really do miss you, honestly.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much.
Jim, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Jim, that beard's working good for you there.
That's the COVID beard.
Yeah, you're looking good there.
We're going to take this out with the Count Basie Orchestra doing Whirlybird at the Newport Jazz Festival, 1990. And this is, this epitomizes what Duffy's all about.
Love.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Wow.
And the son of a bass player, Duffy Jackson.
Son of a bass player. Oh my God. So anyway, Duffy Jackson, don't you go anywhere, Duffy. Stay right there because we're going to come back and we want to close things out with you.
A little private chat with you later.
Yes. But listen, once again, you have wasted another Monday. No, this is never a waste.
My God, it doesn't get any better than what they just saw and heard.
We can't wait to see him in person and play music with him live and in person again and all of this stuff. But listen.
Ooh, Tony Bishop's on. Look at that.
Yeah, Tony Bishop. Look at that.
Hi, Tony.
Listen, this was the last Monday of October, if you can believe it. It seems hard to imagine that this next Monday, it's going to be November. In fact, it is going to be the night before the election. So we are putting together a show next Monday night called Jazz and Democracy, and I have reached out to a whole bunch of my friends, Brenda Alford and Joe Donato and Jim Gazier and Davis and Dow and Lisa Ann Lyons and Nikki Yarling. I can't think of all the people that I've actually reached out to, Lisa Richards, and to put together tunes that kind of are for this time, whether it's a patriotic tune or a protest tune or a folk tune or a pop tune that has to do with I don't know, life today as we know it. So it's going to be an interesting thing, and it's all new, and it's going to be, I don't know, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
So that'll be November 2nd. Then after that, we've got Brandon Goldberg, the how old is he now? 16?
He's a teenager.
A teenage phenomenon, composer and pianist, and that's going to be fun to learn all about him. Then, if that wasn't good enough, we've got two saxophone players, Gary Keller and Troy Roberts, and they're going to be playing and talking and sharing a little bit of what's going on in their life. Then after that, we have another sax player and singer, vocalist, formerly of Mad Romance, Greg Diaz, and he's going to be on. And then we're going to round out November with the world's tallest jazz harmonica player, Hendrik Mirkins. So we just have so much fun. Wanted to once again say a huge shout out to our partners. Please go out and check out their websites and see what they have in store, more than just this. But it's a Gold Coast Jazz Society at goldcoastjazz.org, South Florida Jazz at southfloridajazz.org, Sunshine Jazz Organization at sunshinejazz.org, and of course the Miami Jazz Cooperative at miamijazz.org. We do this every week. We feature amazing musicians and talents, and we learn about them. We talk, we conversate, we drink, we make music, and we hopefully make you laugh and bring a little levity into your lives. And I guess that's it. It's
end of October.
Yeah. Thanks so much, and we will see you again in November.
Thank you. Good night.